Hi guys, Marian here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering your questions about the Jewish holiday of Shabbat. So I just posted on my Instagram to let me know if you guys have any questions or struggles about Shabbat that I can help with. And I got so many responses. It was actually kind of a little disheartening how many people really struggle with Shabbat and aren't able to, I guess, observe the holiday in the way that they would wish, especially this year. But I am here to provide as much help as I can, and feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any more questions than one I answered today, and I can definitely reply and try to help you guys out. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Marian and I make videos about being a mom and being a Jewish mom. So if you like this one, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button down below so you don't miss any more of my videos, and of course follow me on Instagram so you can see when I post Q&As like today's. Okay, so I'm gonna go in no particular order and I'm going to answer as many questions as I can fit in to try and help out as many people as I can. First question I have: is it better to keep Shomer or to connect with synagogue during this pandemic life? So Shomer Shabbat means that you observe the rules of the Sabbath, which means no work, no driving, no lighting a fire, electricity, any of that stuff. And to be Shomer Shabbat is to guard those rules and to live them and to not do any of those things. But in this pandemic life, a lot of us are home and unable to go to synagogue, and I would say from my perspective it is definitely better to connect. You can even maybe figure out a way to have your computer on and to start the Zoom link before the Sabbath starts. I'm not 100% sure if Zoom allows that or how that works, but I feel like maybe there is a way, so you don't have to click anything once the Sabbath has started. But I believe that being able to join with the community is so important for everyone's mental health, and that not getting together with people is so important for everyone's physical health. And in Judaism, the highest value there is saving a life, protecting a life. So not getting together right now in large groups, which is what happens at synagogue, is the ultimate Jewish value. And I believe staying home and connecting on Zoom is a beautiful way to still be able to pray and be with other people during these insane times, especially because this has gone on for so long. It's not like, oh, just take a few weeks off of synagogue or community life. It's like, it's gonna be a while. Okay, this next one I think is so relatable. Sometimes I feel I'm late for Shabbat because of my job, family, or something else. I totally get this. I was a full-time working mom before I was a stay-at-home mom, and Fridays were crazy. I would pick my son up from daycare. It was already 5 o'clock. I had to come home, make dinner. He was tired, I was tired. And what I will say is there's different seasons of life. During that season of life, our Shabbat dinner was way different than it is now. We always lit the candles together as a family. That was like the one thing we did. Sometimes me and my husband would just have our own Shabbat dinner later. I would try to prep things on Thursday as much as I could so that Friday could be enjoyable. My one big thing about Fridays is to have a clean kitchen. So sometimes I order takeout because I just want the experience of the meal to feel enjoyable, and I'll cut whatever corners and do whatever hacks I can to make that happen so that I'm surrounded by a clean space. I always like to have fresh flowers and to light the candles. With those little minimum things, that's how I invite Shabbat into my home, even when it's crazy and hectic. Okay, the next question on that: making food with a 5-month-old or easy meals. I love to use my slow cooker or my Instapot for Shabbat. This past Shabbat that I vlogged, I literally just had some stew meat that I got at the butcher, some potatoes, put it in the slow cooker, and then just dumped whatever condiments we had: ketchup, barbecue sauce, Worcestershire sauce. I had a can of onion soup, spices, put it in the slow cooker all day, and we had the most delicious meal. I think I steamed some broccoli right beforehand to have with it. So easy. I love using the slow cooker for Shabbat, especially in the winter. Okay, my next question I think probably applies to a lot of people out there, and that is including my non-Jewish husband in a meaningful way. So I know I have a lot of interfaith families watching this, but I also know that almost every family is in a way a blended or an interfaith family, because it is so rare that two people come together with the exact same observance levels, the exact exact same religious interests, the exact same traditions from being brought up. So even if you both were raised Jewish, you might have a totally different interest level in how you celebrate Shabbat. And I think this question can apply to anyone in that situation. Sometimes couples will default to whoever's most religious. Sometimes couples will default to whoever has the strongest personality. I would say neither of those are great options. Here's what I would do in that situation. I would make a time to talk with your partner about how you feel about Shabbat and about wanting to include them. So I might say to them, I know these prayers are different for you and they don't have meaning for you, but what's meaningful to me is just to take a time out and a break during the week to get together as a family and pause and be thankful and say a blessing for the week that's past and the one that's to come, and see if they're on board with something like that. And maybe there's a way to include an English component, a wish for the week, along with the candle lighting, so they can feel it's something important to them as well. Maybe there's a song that you guys sing if you have little ones, or even if you don't, if there's a special song that you guys like to sing together that you can add onto the prayer. Judaism is all about addition, about including things that are meaningful for you. So there's nothing wrong with singing a song that's meaningful to you after you light the candles. In fact, Shabbat's full of songs, so that might not be something at all that works for your family. Maybe it's something like adding a special dessert, and during dessert time you go around and say what you're thankful for. Whatever is a custom or a tradition that sounds appealing to you, I would invite you to try and include it within the Shabbat experience and see how that feels. My next question is, do you have a video about how to celebrate Shabbat correctly? It's my first time. Yes, I have tons of videos about Shabbat. I will link my whole playlist down below. Okay, the next question came up a lot, and that is being alone on Shabbat. I'm the only Jewish person in my house converting, and it feels so lonely. I totally get this. Shabbat is meant to be a communal experience, as are most Jewish holidays, as are the Jewish experience in general, and it's really, really hard to do it alone. So first, I just want to say to you, the reason you're finding it hard is because it is hard. That is a hard thing to do. Doesn't mean you can't make it work and spiritual and enjoyable, but it's hard. So here's some ideas I have. What are the most spiritual things you can do by yourself? Meditate, pray, rituals like lighting candles and things like that. So make sure you're doing all of those things that give you spiritual growth in your life. Then think about a way of how to add community to this. You can host a Shabbat dinner for people who are not Jewish. You can say to them, I'm going to light the candles and say these blessings. Here's why I do it. If you want to sing along with me, I've printed out the blessings for you. If you just want to hum along, that's fine. And you'll still have this beautiful Shabbat dinner with your friends or family, even though they're not technically celebrating Shabbat with you. So I would work like that. And I would, of course, try to reach out when it's possible to a Jewish community. Whether you want to become a member of a synagogue or not, but to just find Jewish places to go, like a synagogue or a Jewish community center, to try and start to find some Jewish friends to hang out with and to celebrate holidays with. It makes it easy to do something that's really hard. My next question is, what recipe do you use for challah? I use my own. It's super easy and simple. It works every time. I'm going to link it down below. I have a whole video and post about it so you guys can follow along. And I'm back. My battery actually just died, but hopefully everything's okay. All right. Most of our Shabbat is just laying in bed or reading a book. It's not that bad, but sometimes it gets dark. I think what this question is about is it's hard to be joyous, which is one of the mitzvot of Shabbat, to feel that joy, to feel that second soul, if you just are kind of sitting around doing nothing. And this actually makes me think of Yom Kippur, because obviously it's a mitzvah on Yom Kippur not to eat, but because in the past I have tried so hard not to eat, I have often spent most of the day like napping if I could. This was like pre-motherhood days, and I got to thinking that this was like not the meaning of the mitzvah. And in the same way, I would say that the meaning of Shabbat is to not just sit in your bed all day just so that you're abstaining from doing anything that wouldn't be Shomer Shabbat. So again, this kind of gets back to the community thing. When you have a big family and community to celebrate Shabbat with, you don't encounter some of these issues. You have big dinners and meals, you go to synagogue, and it's really hard to take those laws that blend in with that community aspect and apply them to our modern world of being like a solo, kind of, let's say, young person in your apartment with just your partner or something like that. So what I like to think about is the meaning behind why these laws exist more so than the letter of the law themselves. So kind of what I was mentioning in doing a Zoom service with your synagogue, if that's what they offer, what me and my family have been doing is going on Shabbat hikes. Walking on Shabbat is totally fine. I would say technically like hiking or exercise is not really Shomer Shabbat, but going into nature and talking to God definitely is. So maybe there's something like that that you can incorporate that still feels like you're Shomer Shabbat and not doing anything against the laws of Shabbat, but going for a family walk together, going to somewhere beautiful in nature to say a prayer is all more of the spirit of Shabbat than like lying in your house all day. Here's one I love: finding the mind space to be present and enjoy Shabbat. This is so hard, and I know in our home, Shabbat is like a feeling that comes and goes throughout the 25 hours. Sometimes there's a day where like we need to get out of the house and we'll go to get bagels and we'll have a nice brunch, and like at the time we're going to get the bagels, that doesn't really feel like Shabbat. At the time where we're sitting and enjoying a nice brunch, that does feel like Shabbat. So I think for me, I've allowed myself to know that there are moments within the 25 hours that will feel like Shabbat. Friday night for me like always feels like Shabbat. Saturday sometimes doesn't always. You know, back in the day when we could go to synagogue, it did more so than it does now. So one, just to allow yourself to know that especially this year, there's gonna be Shabbats that don't always feel like Shabbat all the time. But what can you do yourself to get yourself in the right mind space? So I've been reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is so good. And it's all about how to implement habits in your life that you want. So I definitely would recommend that book if any of these things tie to putting a habit in your life. So the reason I bring that up here is that I know for me, I like to make sure that I take a shower and blow dry my hair Friday morning, or clean the house and the kitchen Thursday night so that it's clean for Friday, or I buy flowers early in the week so I make sure to have them for Friday. So whatever little things would help get you in the mind space by doing these physical things, taking a bath, making sure the house is clean, build them into your routine so that when Friday comes, when Shabbat comes, you've set yourself up for as best an opportunity to connect as possible. Sometimes that also could be picking out a meditation to do on Thursday to get yourself in the right mindset so you have a nice sleep Thursday night. Or maybe it's a meditation that you do on Friday night. I actually filmed a video about Jewish meditation. I am so into meditation these days. I'll make another video on it, promise, because actually it's just so top of my mind. But something like that, whatever you find helps you get in the mood, build it into your routine. Okay, a nice dinner. Sometimes we just order out. Like I said before, I think that's totally fine. But if you want to make a nice dinner, definitely recommend the slow cooker stuff. I also recommend meal prepping or prepping stuff beforehand so that maybe it's a meal that you can just pop in the oven, like a one-sheet tray meal, and then take it out and eat right then and there. Also, dessert is something that you can almost always prep in advance and have that ready to go. So even if your dinner is just like grilled chicken and vegetables, if you have a nice fancy dessert, it really elevates things. So can a nice bottle of wine. So I like to just prep in advance. That's the thing about Shabbat, and I talk about this on Instagram. I just made a post. We as Jewish people in our tradition invite the Sabbath in. The beginning service to start the Sabbath is called Kabbalat Shabbat. And the beginning prayer is the Chadodi, and it's all about welcoming the Sabbath bride, the spirit of Shabbat, into our home. Why do I mention this? Because you need to invite Shabbat into your home if you want it to come. It isn't just waltz in on its own. So if you don't do the things to invite the Sabbath in, whatever those things are to you that are meaningful to you, it ain't just gonna happen. So I say that because a lot of people, I feel like, are just mystified about why is it so hard? It's like anything in life, anything that's good for you, exercise, eating well, it takes that time, dedication, and habit forming to get to the good part. And I feel like a lot of people just give up because it's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start. And I would say it's just the same. Living a more spiritual life and living a healthier life, or any other thing that's good for you, just takes that time and dedication to building it into your life, especially if you weren't just born into a religious family or a religious community that's all wrapped up and tied up for you already. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there because a lot of the questions I have are really similar to those same themes. I don't want to do like too much repeating in this video, but like I said, I'm gonna link all of my Shabbat videos and playlists below so you can check out more if you're interested to know more. You can of course put any comments down below if you need specific questions or anything I can help with. Definitely follow me on Instagram because every week I post my Shabbat prep, how it's going. I also post my solo Havdalah, which I haven't talked about in this video, but that is something that I do all by myself. I light the Havdalah candle, I go outside if it's not 20 degrees and say those blessings, take that time to myself, but I always share about it on Instagram afterwards. So definitely follow me there and I'll show you guys how I do this kind of stuff each week. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!